I feel like toxic is such a misused word in the League of Legends community. Every time I say in a video something along the lines of, sure, the League of Legends community is rough around the edges, but overall we're a pretty strong player base that creates lots of awesome content and, you know, we're genuinely good-hearted people, I get some really hateful private messages. People say all sorts of weird things to me after I mention anything like that in a video, saying stuff like, you're what's wrong with the community for condoning bad behavior. What about this one time I had a AFK in my game, or a feeder, or someone who intentionally trolled and lost us the game, or did this or that. You're awful for condoning these sorts of things. The thing you have to remember is the League of Legends community is huge. 70 million monthly players. Of course, there's going to be some bad eggs out there. Some people believe that you remember negative experiences much more than positive ones, and to be honest, I think that might be a little bit of this going on here. Having a really awful experience with an incredibly toxic person in one 40-minute game can really set you off. It sucks when you do get a troll. I've raged plenty of times before I started making YouTube videos, after making YouTube videos, on stream, off stream. I've raged plenty of times because of plenty of awful players, or not awful players, but toxic players. Players that have given me a truly bad experience. But to be honest, I genuinely don't believe that there's as many toxic players as people make out in the League of Legends community. Maybe Platinum is just a really nice area of the community and there's just not as many toxic players, but in general, so many people make it out like every other game they get someone who intentionally feeds the enemy team and never gets banned for it. I don't think there's that many toxic people in League of Legends, but there may be that many competitive people. Like, compare how many times you've had someone who's AFK'd or intentionally fed an entire game compared to someone who's AFK'd or intentionally fed only after your team has started getting slaughtered, or after they've had a really bad experience. Generally, from my experience at least, people don't really turn nasty until something goes wrong in-game. Everyone starts off with a pretty positive attitude when you first queue up for solo queue, or a normal game, and a strong desire to win, but that desire to win is what sets a few people off sometimes. Maybe a player gets slaughtered in lane and the game starts off with the enemy team going 10-0, and they don't want to deal with that game anymore, so they just AFK. Maybe that same player got slaughtered in lane and went 0-10 himself the first 10 minutes of the game, and then his team yells at him for feeding, says stop intentionally feeding, even though he was trying his hardest, and then he says something stupid and condescending like, oh, you want to see intentional feeding? And then he starts intentionally feeding. I'm not trying to condone the things that these people do. I really genuinely hate them sometimes, as much as you guys do, if you believe it or not. But I do want to point out that the League of Legends player base isn't necessarily inherently evil the way that everyone makes it out to be. I don't think we're the most toxic community out there. I think, if anything, we're probably the most competitive community out there. We have a really strong desire to win every single time we queue up for solo queue, and things can get really nasty if we don't. To quote Jev, that Call of Duty YouTuber that made a video on YouTube describing his experiences getting into League of Legends, the League of Legends community doesn't fuck around. The W is everything. Dude, I am chunking this Nasus. Elise with Magic Pen is so good. Here, look at this, look at this. Boom! Boom! How did I even do that? I think that desire to win, though, is what turns us nasty in some of the games that go poorly for us, rather than us just being inherently nasty. And sometimes I feel like some players use the toxic community as an excuse to sort of be toxic themselves sometimes. But anyway, those are just my experiences that I've had over my sort of League of Legends career, but I haven't been in like bronze or silver since about 2 years ago is when I got out of those ratings, so maybe things are different and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm partially right, maybe I'm completely right, maybe I'm completely wrong, but do tell me in the comments below whether you think I have any sort of truth to this idea. A few people have said this in the community, and I don't know whether it's true or not. I'm interested on hearing your opinions. So tell me if you agree or not in the comments down below, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless. Until tomorrow, though, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.